Then when a third container was brought in, it was brought in at night and they made backpackers unload it. No Australians were unloading that container because, well, obviously we had seen what we had seen in the previous containers and reported it.
Today we want to highlight Helen Dalton, the work she's doing around the Murray-Darling water basin, and a video she made a little while back on circumstances at the Gundaline cotton farm.
3, 2, 1.
Firstly, a little bit on Helen. She was elected to the New South Wales Legislative Assembly in 2019 as a member of the Shooters, Fishers and Farmers Party, and then ran again in 2022 as an independent after she'd had a bit of a falling out with the party, mate.
Yeah, that's a shame. I've always kind of voted for them.
Yeah, if you look at their policies, I like
They're
their
actually
policies.
pretty good.
Yeah, there's some there that are a bit wishy-washy, but anyway. She campaigns around water security, rural hospital funding, New South Wales government corruption. Who would have thought another state with a corrupt government? Particularly around water management, mental health services and infrastructure. She's written a bill to improve transparency on who owns water in New South Wales.
Transparency.
Transparency. That's right. The bill would have forced all state MPs to declare their water interests and would have provided a state water register allowing the public to search for the names of companies and individuals who own water.
Well, they can't let that happen, especially with these data centres that are going to go up.
That's going
right?
to use all their water. Yeah. Once used for farming, now used for data centres. It was passed in the upper house, but it was voted down by Labor in the lower house.
What a shock.
Exactly right. She was a primary school teacher. Then she's gone back to the farm and they farm maize, cereals, cotton, beef and wool on her farm. Oh. So farmer first,
whole whack,
politician second. Yep, exactly right. She's not associated with the Teals.
Well, that's a good thing.
She's a true independent. In fact, she's been asked on more than one occasion to join One Nation and she's pushed back on that and stood her digs.
Good on her.
Yeah, for that we tip her hat. Absolutely. A little while back, she made a 9-minute video that raised so many concerns about the goings-on at the Gundaline cotton farm, from water use to environmental issues to biosecurity mismanagement, working conditions and forced unsafe work practices. It really was an eye-opener, mate. I couldn't believe it when I watched this video. This is a 16,000 hectare cotton farm on the Sturt Highway in the Riverina that backs onto the Murrumbidgee River, and it was sold recently to China.
China.
Exactly right.
China coal.
It's one of the largest irrigated cotton farms in Australia.
And it's owned by China.
It's owned by China. Should we have a look at the video?
Sure.
When is a farm in Australia not an Australian farm?
They don't want Chinese cotton anymore. They want sustainable Australian cotton. Hugo Boss, Lacoste, Marni, Ralph Lauren. But at the end of the day, when they come over here, they still want to do it like they did back home.
Recently, Gundaline Station in New South Wales was bought by a Chinese-owned company. This is what Aussie workers on the farm say happened next.
The farm in total size is 16,000 hectares. We were told by the management company that it would be new owners, absentee owners, that wouldn't be there very often, they'd come for a visit, but that it would just be business as usual.
Aussie workers say they've also been forced to illegally cover up a massive fuel spill.
So there was a large diesel container that feeds a local lift pump that lifts water between channels. It had a bit over 10,000 litres in it at the time, and one of the valves on the bottom had rusted out and had started leaking. We informed the management company of it happening. Then one of the workers was told to dig a small channel to drain it into one of the water channels, causing mass fish die off. You know, you've got frogs and bird life and everything surrounding the channel, and then that water was then pumped back into the dam and over the paddocks. Anytime you get a chemical spill or a fuel spill, there's proper procedures you have to follow. You have to properly try and catch as much of it as you can and report it to the authorities, but none of that has happened with it. At the end, it just comes down to their bottom line.
And the environmental threats don't stop there. Aussie workers say Australia's entire biosecurity is also under threat at Gundaline.
The new owners brought these containers in with farming equipment straight out of China because it was a cheaper product. In the containers there were sticks, leaves, grass, insects. So we've documented it, and there were some reports made to biosecurity. They then followed the next container load out. The second that we opened it, they rolled in off the highway. You had 2 Asian fruit fly species, 2 spiders that we didn't have here in Australia. We didn't hear much else from it after that. But then when a third container was brought in, it was brought in at night, and they made backpackers unload it. No Australians were unloading that container because, well, obviously we had seen what we had seen in the previous containers and reported it. Nice red flag was the new owners came up to me and they wanted me to teach their foreign workers how to drive machinery and operate very large, very complicated machinery, and with very, very limited English. No safety tickets, hardly even a driver's license. An Australian one. We knew that eventually someone will get hurt.
It didn't take long before untrained foreign workers were risking their lives and the lives of others.
A Chinese employee was driving a heavy excavator across site, around the yards, around the sheds, and he's driven it under some power lines with the bucket still up in the air, and he nearly hit it by probably less than a metre. Everybody on site's jumping up and down, telling him, yelling at him, stop the machine. He's going to hit a power line. But we were waving at him, he couldn't understand. I know he didn't have an Australian driver's licence because we asked him for one of them. Because as an Australian on the farm, we're not allowed to operate any of the machinery without a driver's licence ourselves. They would pull into the yard, I'd see an unsecured load on the back with no straps on it, or the safety chains not hooked up, or even the power lights for the trailers not plugged in, because they just didn't have any idea.
When Aussie workers spoke up about safety, they say they were bullied or sacked.
When the owners heard that we were refusing to teach them, they turned around to their workers and said, go out after hours, jump in machinery and teach yourself. And when we brought it to CFM's attention, they said, well, it's the owner's machines, they own it, it's their land, they can do what they want. Oh, it's scary. It's scary. Being out on a farm is dangerous. The machinery is dangerous. It has one of the highest injury rates and death rates of any industry. You think, well, what am I going to see? What will I be witness to? Will I go out in the morning and find a worker who's jumped on a piece of machinery at night and rolled it into a channel and you find them dead?
So what about the police and the regulators like SafeWork New South Wales? Well, the Aussie workers say they were instructed to deliberately mislead anyone who came onto the property to conduct an inspection.
You were told that, okay, leave a few obvious things for them to see, a few small things that we can easily fix ourselves. That way, they don't dig too deep and find the larger problems.
The Aussie workers say some staff were sacked and then paid hush money.
There was key workers that they no longer wanted on site because they would call it troublesome. They would say diligent about their work, on top of safety and knowing what's lawful and what's not. When they got rid of those persons, they were offered cash backhands to just leave silently, leave quietly, not to kick up a fuss, not to go talk to people.
And the Aussie workers who kept their jobs say they continued to be threatened by the Chinese owners and the Australian farm management consultants.
They gathered together all the remaining staff, took us into the office for a meeting. They ran down the ex-staff saying, that they are their dogs. All they want to do is cause trouble. They even went to the extent of saying, if we believe that you have been talking to them, we will confiscate your personal electric devices, your phones, computers, laptops, etc. Or it'll be up to you to prove innocence otherwise you'll be instantly terminated. I knew it wasn't legal. I knew it wasn't legal in Australia.
And it's not just gundaline. The same abuses of Australian laws and regulations are happening more and more as Aussie farms continue to be bought up by foreign powers.
They don't want to follow standards, they just want to get in, make as much money as they can. They'll turn a blind eye to almost anything. The Chinese stand over the Australian government, don't they? They are a bully nation.
Enough is enough. We must listen to Aussie workers like these before it's too late. If we don't protect rural Australia, we will lose our way of life forever.
I'm speaking out because one day my kids might be growing up in this region. What do I want it to be like for them? Having our resources owned by foreign companies, we are losing a lot of power as a country.
So it's a bit of an eye-opener, isn't it, mate?
Wow.
Now, this has come back into the news just recently because this company, this Chinese-owned company, has just been handed a $10 million grant that was supposed to go to the community because they were losing their water. Instead, it's been handed to this company.
Wow. Well, I mean, Labour are showing their hand to be pretty much communists.
Yeah,
So this doesn't really surprise me too much.
exactly right.
But who the hell's meant to be policing this?
I know. We'll just touch on the grant, right? It's a $10 million community grant that was given to the Gundaline Cotton Farm, granted through the Sustainable Communities Program that was set up by Albo and Minzo in New South Wales to soften the blow on Murray-Darling Basin communities that have had their water bought out from under them. So this was $60 million in phase 2 that was supposed to go to the communities.
Yep.
10 million of that went to this cotton farm, and another 10 million went to another cotton farm that we're not going to talk about.
Owned by another.
Yeah, well, I don't know who owns that one. I haven't done the research. But
God.
Either way, they're not the people who are supposed to be benefiting from these grants. So as Helen says, the government strips water away from family farms, watches towns go backwards, sets up a fund to say sorry to these communities, then hands $10 million of taxpayer dollars back to the Chinese operator with ties to the Chinese government. You can't make this stuff up, mate.
That is ridiculous.
It's insane, isn't it? Absolutely insane.
And how hard was it to research this?
It wasn't that hard once I got onto the information. So Aussies sacked, replaced by backpacker Chinese workers who don't have
a driving license.
They've never driven the machinery before.
Oh my God! Well, you can see what happened with some of the tippers, the front load tippers,
Stuck
falling
under.
over. And
Oh my God! So where the hell is SafeWork New South Wales? You've worked and I've worked in an industry that is governed with an iron fist by WorkSafe, right?
Yep.
Here in Victoria.
you can't go on site without signing in and doing a bloody safety course.
A card for this, an induction for that. I mean, you just can't go on site.
Yep.
Yeah.
I know it's painful.
Exactly.
Very painful.
Yep.
And
But
yet, when it's a foreign-owned company,
With
they
big
can
bucks.
pretty much do anything they want.
Whatever they like. And of course, if any of the Aussies brought up safety, they were bullied or sacked.
Yeah, that is pathetic, mate.
It's insane, mate.
Seriously pathetic.
And then you got the whole issue with the diesel being spilt, and they dig a channel into another channel and kill all
The wildlife,
the
the
fish,
fish.
the frogs, and the birds. And then once it's flushed, they just use that water to pump it back into the irrigation.
It's ridiculous. It's like they turn up they're so anal about the stuff the Aussies are doing, but foreign-owned companies
Have at
run amok.
Yeah.
Do what you will.
Yeah, do what you like.
F Australia, who cares? We don't. We getting a big bloody pay rise at the end of the bloody year, so who cares?
Exactly right. You got to wonder how a container gets to site without going through customs or through
know.
biosecurity.
I thought they all had to be sprayed with shit before they actually get through.
Exactly
Apparently
right.
Chinese ones don't.
Exactly right.
You know, when this becomes China, they'll come for us.
Probably, yeah. I know someone who brings a fair bit of equipment in from China and Turkey that is more farming equipment than this, and they can have containers stuck for months because something's been found and it's going to be sprayed. And for this,
just gets right through.
yeah,
And they found out they found 2 spiders that
Some
weren't
fruit
from the
flies.
fruit flies.
trees, bits of branches, leaves, and then when that does get reported, we'll bring them in at night and we'll just let the backpackers unpack them.
I mean, we can't even take a banana across the border or
Exactly
something.
right. We can't even take an apple into South
Nah.
Australia. You're right. Absolutely insane. So it shows me what's it all about? Profit. Yep, it's all about profit.
Yep.
They were told to lie to authorities to make sure they don't get caught. And while Chinese owned, it's an Australian farm management company that actually manages it.
They should be hung, drawn, and quartered, mate.
They're obviously just shit scared of their Chinese overlords.
Yep.
Yeah. They're taking the money and telling people to break the law.
They've been paid. Well, they must have been paid off. Because
Absolutely.
unless you're paid off, what incentive have you got to like lie for these guys?
Yep, exactly right. It's a disgrace. So Aussies threatened with termination, or actually being terminated, only to see backpackers flown in to operate the farm. How does that help the local community, right? These are regional towns. We're supposed to be employing, there
people
is
from the same
hundreds of
towns.
people employed at this farm. And
It's just...
it's backpackers.
There's too many words, mate.
It's staggering, mate.
Spellbounding, mate.
Yeah, it's absolutely ridiculous. So thank you very much to Helen for bringing this to everyone's attention. This video was up on Facebook until yesterday and then
Really?
cut off. If you try and get onto it today, it ain't there.
You can't find it.
It's still on YouTube. Link in the description, everybody. But it is not available on Facebook today. It's a disgrace.
It's disgusting, mate.
It is.
Yeah, especially with the laws they put us through. And then I reckon it's even worse than back in the 70s and 80s. You kind of got away with whatever.
Yeah.
And there weren't any safety. But even taking that into account, this is worse.
Yeah.
They've got people that can't even driving.
It's crazy. But the thing is, right, so Armani and Lacoste and all of those, Hugo Boss, have gone to China and said, your cotton is crap. We want Australian cotton. So they go and buy an Australian company. They put the Chinese work ethic into it and they call it Australian cotton. But I bet the standard is falling away.
Yeah.
It would have to be. It would have to be falling away.
No doubt, no doubt.
Yeah. So, no good, mate. There's nothing good coming from this.
Well on you for putting this out to people, because
Yeah,
I had
well
no
done,
idea
Helen.
this was going on. But
It's absolutely shocking.
after seeing what other shit's gone down with this government,
Wow.
it doesn't really surprise me.
No, there's no shocks in here. Let us know what you think, everybody. Helen's done a great job putting this out. We've asked Helen for a bit of a chat. That'd be not good,
Yeah,
wouldn't
that'd
it?
be great, yeah.
Because she's got a lot of knowledge on the water basin, and that's not something we're overly familiar with.
Well, we really not overly familiar just about anything.
True, that's a good point. Yeah, great point. But it would be good to know a little bit more about it,
Yeah.
because a lot of the farmers do complain about a lack of water that is hurting their business. And especially, we're in drought. And as you said, data centers are coming.
Yeah.
Where do we get the water from, mate?
I know.
It's nuts. Not the sky, 'cause
No.
it's hardly been raining. Yeah. All right, everyone, let us know what you think.
Thanks, guys. See you
Cheers.
later.
Bye.